Hey y'all, come in, come in, come in, come in. Mm, mm, mm. Come in, y'all. We're gonna go ahead on and get started. People, you know that we have talked about this case before when it first came out. So we're gonna get into this case on Jessie Dodson. Y'all remember that Jessie Dodson? We did a live content on him. And now let me give you a little, make y'all remember. Jesse Dawson, a man that was sentenced to death for unaliving or dismissing 6 people in 2008, okay? In the Birminghamton neighborhood of Memphis, okay? He did it, okay? Tennessee has filed a petition for a writ of a habeas corpus asking a judge to vacate his conviction. Now you know that don't make no sense. Now what I want to do is let y'all remember what went on. Shout out to all my late nighters, Now, Jesse Dawson trying to fake his death, trying to delay his death execution. So he don't have nothing but in jail to sit here, and his living nephew is a young man now. He's not 9. When he first came and testified, he was 9. Okay, he about 20 something now. He probably early 30, but he 20 something. He can remember what his uncle did to him, face to face, eye to eye, and did try to dismiss him after dismissing everybody in his house. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna start right here. I'm gonna let y'all. What I'm gonna do is go back. Okay, hold on. Let me think. I want to show y'all this one. This one. Let's look at this one so it can remind you. And y'all remember when we did this live? We did this live, and even First 48 was mixing this. Now, look, y'all. This is what Jesse Dotson, I may be saying it wrong, Dotson had convicted, and that he want to reverse conviction, trying to say that his nephew, a 9-year-old, don't y'all have a 9-year-old nephew, 9-year-old niece, and one y'all wasn't you all once upon a time 9 and smart, know how to work on cars, know how to tell everything. Tell everything, because I was a telltale. Now, Dotson, y'all, I keep saying Dawson. Dotson wants to, one lie, allegedly. Okay, let's put it like this. This is for educating purposes, entertainment purposes, criticism purposes, news reporting purposes, because this boy trying to get out of something after he convicted, when he took his whole family out. Y'all, his nephew will not never forget this. His nephew is living, and he looked his nephew in the eye, and he called himself taking his nephew out, but he couldn't take him out. God left him alive after he done took everybody out the house. So he thought that he was gonna get away with the murder. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all this video so y'all can remember when we covered this content. Okay, shout out to all my late nighters. I decided to come in with y'all since I ain't got to work in one. Okay, let's look at this.
Murder in Memphis history. Jesse Dotson, the man at the center of the infamous Leicester Street killing in Hampton, is now asking a judge to reverse his convictions. Dotson was sentenced to death for the 2008 killing of 6 people, including his brother and 2 young nephews. He's filed a 249-page petition claiming he falsely confessed to the murders because of threats, and pressure to solve the case was enormous because of the involvement of the TV show The First 48 pressured Memphis police to make a conviction. The petition claims Dotson'S innocence, and there was no DNA evidence connecting him. It also says the 11-year-old survivor in the massacre, identified as his nephew, was on a mixture of mind-altering medication.
What? His nephew wasn't but 11. And he's still lying. Look at the petition. Y'all, come on. Why is he doing it? That ain't nothing but the devil. That ain't nothing but the devil. He gonna say that he lied on his own 11-year-old nephew and say he was on a mixture of mind-altering medications. Oh, he must be talking about himself because he can't talk about his nephew. He must be talking about himself. So he's saying that the mixture of mind-altering medication he was on made him turn on his own family. No, man. No, 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 no. Hold up. I got to play it. First of all, he don't upset me because the way he came in the courtroom. Why these people keep trying to get away? Why they playing with law with people money, y'all? He's sick.
In Memphis history, Jesse Dotson,
And he gonna come in there, think he's still cute. He gonna come in the courtroom all swaggy. That because he don't clean himself out mentally, but he don't know that he left a survivor that who's gonna have mental issues for the rest of his life. Trying to dodge that chair. But they don't do the chair no more. Whatever they do.
man at the center of the infamous Leicester Street killings in Binghamton, is now asking a judge to reverse his convictions. Dotson was sentenced to death for the 2008 killing of 6 people, including his brother and 2 young nephews. He's filed a 249-page petition claiming he falsely
What's up,
confessed to the
Ryan?
murders because of threats, and pressure to solve the case was enormous because of the involvement of the TV show The First 48 pressured Memphis police to make a conviction. The petition claims Dotson's innocence, and there was no DNA evidence connecting him. It also says the 11-year-old survivor in the massacre, identified as his nephew, was on a mixture of mind-altering medications, and his memory was not reliable.
What? You hear what he's saying about his own nephew? Do you hear what he's saying about his own? And he's still lying, y'all. So he got a petition for still telling a lie. Trying to say that his nephew was on some mind-altering medication, y'all. And he looked his own 11-year-old nephew in the eye to eye. And then tried to take that boy's life. Memory was not reliable. What? The boy telling the same story that he telling before. He telling that let's stay on this content. Y'all don't want to watch it. Y'all don't have to, okay? This is for my subscribers who been with me with this. Now, the memory was not reliable. What? The boy telling his nephew is telling the same story that he been telling for years. Come on, Ryan. I need your help right here.
The document claims the murders were committed as a result of gang violence retaliation after Dotson's brother Cecil had.
He tried to put it on the gang vibe. You know what? It's sad that you you in the game and they blame it on the gang members, and then the gang members and they're gonna leave him alive while his y'all listen. Just because his brother Caesar had crossed multiple members of his own gang, they had it out. He don't forget the Lord kept one of the survivors alive, and that was the 11 years old. His nephew. His nephew looked at him. His nephew tells the story. Now the nephew is going through something. He still remember the same story. But we're gonna see. I'm gonna let y'all see the nephew like in a minute.
Across multiple members of his own gang.
Jessie Dotson versus State of Tennessee.
Last year, Dotson's lawyers went before the Tennessee Supreme Court to argue they had an issue with an earlier decision of funding for a mental health evaluation.
In my experience in capital cases, this was unheard of that we were denied expert assistance.
He has no constitutional right to expert assistance in a post-conviction proceeding.
The state Supreme Court would deny post-conviction relief in July of last year. Dotson is now on death row at Riverbend Maximum Security Prison in Nashville, hoping his conviction and sentence will be reversed.
And I hope it never be reversed. Because his nephew is alive, y'all. You're gonna see his nephew in a few minutes. His nephew is still living with this story. And he trying to get his
Alex Coleman, WREG.
and he trying to get his conviction reversed, y'all. After he done did this to his own family. I had to bring that up so y'all can remember that what he did. Now let's go. Now let's go to his mom, and then we're gonna go to the nephew. That's his mother, y'all. If I can recall, this is supposed to be his mother, and we talked. Excuse me, y'all. Ryan, we talked about Trump today. Go look on my channel. Now we talking about Jessie Dotson now because he better not get out of this right here. Let's listen to his mother. They love their uncle, and the uncle still lying. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy, Jesus.
Nobody are winners in this situation. My grandchildren want to know why it happened. They want their Uncle Jesse to tell them why he killed their parents. They loved him, but he did this to them.
Well, it's been nearly 15 years since Jessie Dotson was convicted of murdering 6 people, including his brother and 2 young nephews. The 2008 incident was called the Leicester Street Massacre. Dotson was given the death penalty, but he's now asking the court to overturn that. In a recent court filing, Dotson claims he could not have committed the murder by himself without leaving evidence or even DNA. Dotson also claims the murders were a result of gang violence and retaliation, and his confession was forced and false.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't forced and false. No, it wasn't. He sat up there and he told when he see what happened to now, this is nephew, y'all. It's bad enough that you do wrong and mentally this boy some mental issues because his uncle looked him in the eye and we had on and sliced him. His own uncle with the same last name as his. And thought that he did all the children like that, y'all. And then now he think he deserved to stay alive. But this is the nephew. When he was 9 years old, he is still telling the same story. They better not let that man out of there. Because he left. God knows that's the family survivor right there. That he told Jessie told the first 48 that all them he thought he had took all their lights off and took lives. Then they told them that, well, you left one alive. And he said, Uncle Jesse did this. Now here go the nephew, y'all. We got to look out for the nephew. He older now.
now, and he don't deserve no legal rights.
The survivor and key witness from the 2008 Leicester Street Massacre, speaking out about Jessie Dotson's push to have his murder convictions overturned 16 years later. Fox 13 told you last week about Dotson's latest appeal. The 49-year-old was convicted for murdering 6 family members, including 2 children.
Yeah, 3 children survive, including Dotson's nephew, CJ. Fox 13's Sierra Jordan spoke with CJ Dotson, who says his uncle is lying to get off of death row.
Sad.
CJ Dotson was only 9 years old when the murders happened right here on Leicester Street back in 2008. He said he remembers the details like it was yesterday. He says he still can't believe his uncle killed his family, and he is grateful to be alive today.
Why he do it? What was his purpose? And what was his intention?
Those are questions CJ Dotson has for his uncle, Jessie Dotson. It's been 16 years since CJ witnessed Jessie murder his family.
I was a child, it was unexpected.
CJ says it started with an argument between Jessie and his brother, who was CJ's father, in a home on Leicester Street back in 2008.
When I got up, I walked in the little hallway, and I seen him shoot my daddy in the face while he was begging for his life or whatever.
CJ says he was stabbed during the massacre and is grateful he survived. He says he testified at trial that his uncle was the killer. Jessie was convicted for the murders in 2010 and is serving a life sentence. But in January, Jessie filed a 249-page petition claiming his nephew gave false testimony. The petition says CJ was not competent to testify and was affected by drugs. The survivor says Jessie Dotson is lying.
They should have been killed this man. He don't need to be free.
That's right. That's his own. And y'all, just imagine that your uncle still lying and you live to tell the truth and you still saying the same thing. He wasn't even supposed to be alive. He supposed to be the 4th child that they took out. He looked him in the eye while he was doing that to his daddy. And just like this boy, listen to what this boy just said. They should have been what?
The petition says CJ was not competent to testify and was affected by drugs. The survivor says Jessie Dotson is lying.
They should have been killed this man. He don't need to be free at all. I feel like he should get the same treatment done to him as what he done to my people.
This is not the first time Jessie Dotson filed for an appeal. The state Supreme Court denied a different appeal last year. In Memphis,
Yeah, this sad. This sad. Why these devils keep on getting away with stuff? They ain't gonna let him out. They ain't gonna let him out. That boy wasn't but 9 years old when his uncle did this to him. 11 years old when his uncle did. 11 years old. Come on, y'all. We done been 11 years old before. When his uncle did him like that. God left one survivor. And he was been in the hospital, y'all. Maybe he need to show his scars. To let his uncle see what he done did to him. Whew, Lord have mercy, Jesus. I don't know what we're going to do, God. The devil, and he just sit like I'm going to let y'all hear him in the court.
So where's there more to say? Kill him. Get him gone off this earth. He's a monster.
The niece of Jessie Dotson, filled with anger. Dotson is serving time on death row for killing 6 people, including multiple family members and children in 2008.
I walked in there. I seen him holding a gun, a revolver. I know what it was. And he was shooting my dad in the face.
Jessie Dotson's nephew, CJ Dotson, was there. He was only 9 years old at the time.
I was his first child victim he started on before he went to my brothers and them.
Listen, he was the first child that his own uncle went to first. Just imagine you 11-year old and you looking at this. He was in the hospital, y'all. Boy, this boy gonna have a problem. He got a mental problem already. Not a mental illness, but a mental problem right now. Shout out to my late nighters.
Started on me first. So when I looked him in his face, I told him I loved him. He had his pocket knife like this in his hand and was looking at me.
Look at that, y'all. Look at that. This is so sad. Every time, wait, y'all, I gotta let this boy tell his story because it's real. He's still lying, trying to get out of there. Golly, I can't believe this. He trying to overturn his conviction, his own uncle. He still don't have no regret what he did to his own living, surviving nephew.
Was there. He was only 9 years old at the time.
I was his first child victim he started on. Before he went to my brothers and them, he started on me first. So when I looked him in his face, I told him I loved him. He had his pocket knife like this in his hand and was looking at me with, a little tear in his eye, but he had the little evil look on. And he sliced me across the throat.
He says he tried to call 911, but dropped the phone when he saw his uncle.
Stand right there in the doorway. I had the phone. I dropped the phone. I was acting like I was looking for something. And I was like, I need to go to the restroom. I was trying to go to the restroom. He made me go to the restroom. As soon as I was about to whip it out and use the restroom, he stuck me in the head with a butcher knife. And I was playing with it. And I fell in the tub and I was playing.
And he ain't lying, y'all. And he's not even lying. That's how they found. That's how they found this boy. And this boy still saying the same story that he said when he was 9 years old. This is the same. He ain't gonna never forget this. And here your uncle still lying. Golly, but God wasn't ready for you to go, baby. You his witness.
Because I was trying to pull it out, but it wouldn't budge.
CJ was taken to the hospital that night. Meanwhile, Sierra Dotson says she was sleeping at her relative's house, and that saved her life. She found out about the killings the next day. She says she was taken to protective custody with her uncle. At the time, he had not been arrested.
They didn't know who did it at the time. So they had to pick me up because it was the protected custody. That's when I left in. Went to protected custody. My uncle was in protected custody with Jessie Dotson. We had 10 police officers outside the room. She called.
Yeah, I didn't want y'all to hear for y'all saying in the petition. Listen to this boy. No, let's don't tell his story, what he did to his family, what his own uncle did to him. Golly. He's still lying. The uncle. Come on, y'all. Don't sign that petition. Look out for this boy right here. If a man sitting right there, he's saying that, trying to overturn a conviction. Wow. I've been on this case right here for a long time, and this boy been saying this same story this long.
And he was shooting my dad in the face.
Jessie Dotson's nephew, CJ Dotson.
And that's his sister,
He was
y'all,
only
the
9
other
years
girl.
old at the time.
I was his first child victim he started on. Before he went to my brothers and them, he started on me first. So when I looked him in his face, I told him I loved him. He had his pocket knife like this in his hand and was looking at me with, a little tear in his eye, but he had the little evil look on. and he sliced me across the throat.
He says he tried to call 911, but dropped the phone when he saw his uncle.
Stand right there in the doorway. I had the phone. I dropped the phone. I was acting like I was looking for something. And I was like, I need to go to the restroom. I was trying to go to the restroom. He made me go to the restroom. As soon as I was about to...
Carolina, you remember this,
He
Carolina?
stuck me in the head with a butcher knife. And I was playing with it. And I fell in the tub and I was playing with it because I was trying to pull it out, but it wouldn't budge.
CJ was taken to the hospital that night. Meanwhile, Sierra Dotson, she was sleeping at her relative's house, and that saved her life. She found out about the killings the next day. She said she was taken to protective custody with her uncle. At the time, he had not been arrested.
They didn't know who did it at the time. So they had to pick me up because it was the protective custody. That's when I left in. Went to protective custody. My uncle was in protective custody with Jessie Dotson'S. And we had 10 police officers outside the room. She calls back 10 minutes later, we sent the news, and my uncle's up on her. That's who killed him the whole time.
Jesse Dotson is now asking the court to set aside his conviction and sentence. The 249-page petition argues improper police tactics.
200, wait a minute, 200 and some page conviction. If they let this man out of there, y'all, I promise y'all this ain't right. Yeah, y'all remember this, and you remember this too, Carolina. You remember this. Because y'all was on this case with me. This crazy, and then he trying to get out, y'all. He trying to overturn a conviction. After his nephew stood right here and told y'all, well, this, I'm gonna play it. One reason why I'm gonna play it one more time, because before anybody signed any papers dealing with this man, please listen to this boy's story. And there go the niece. She wasn't there. Praise God, she wasn't there. 200 page. Because he's sitting in jail, ain't got nothing to do. He supposed to been getting ready to go up for his turn to get out of here. What they holding on to him for? And this young man sitting right here. I want to play it. I'm going to play it for y'all one more time because he got a petition out there. After he don't took that boy dad and his nephews and his cousin them out of him. It took him out of him. Pote took him out. God wasn't ready for him to go. God wasn't ready for that, him to pull that knife out the back of his head. If he had to pull that knife out from the back of his head, he might not be here now to tell what happened. Don't sign that petition, y'all.
So where's there more to say? Kill him. Get him gone off this earth. He's a monster.
The niece of Jesse Dotson, filled with anger. Dotson is serving time on death row
Let's
for
stay
killing
uncle.
6 people, including multiple family members and children in 2008.
I walked in there. I seen him holding a gun, a revolver. I know what it was. And he was shooting my dad in the face.
Jesse Dotson's nephew, CJ Dotson,
Shot his own brother.
was only 9 years old at the time.
I was his first child victim he started on. Before he went to my brothers and them, he started on me first. So when I looked him in his face, I told him I loved him. He had his pocket knife like this in his hand and was looking at me with, a little tear in his eye, but he had the little evil look on. And he sliced me across the throat.
He says he tried to call 911, but dropped the phone when he saw his uncle.
Stand right there in the doorway. I had the phone. I dropped the phone. I was acting like I was looking for something. I was like, I need to go to the restroom. I was trying to go to the restroom. He made me go to the restroom. As soon as I was about to whip it out and use the restroom, he shot me in the head with a butcher knife. And I was playing with it. And I fell in the tub and I was playing with it because I was trying to pull it out, but it wouldn't budge.
CJ was taken to the hospital that night. Meanwhile, Sierra Dotson says she was sleeping at her relative's house, and that saved her life. She found out about the killings the next day. She said she was taken to protective custody with her uncle. At the time, he had not been arrested.
They didn't know who did it at the time. So they had to pick me up because it was the protective custody. That's when I left in.
And y'all, I never will forget this story. He finally told First 48 that he had the knife in it sewer. And they went and got it out of there. He the one told them where the knife was. Yeah, James.
to protect the custody. My uncle was in protected custody with Jessie Dotson. And we had 10
What
police
he
officers.
trying to do now? What he trying to do now, James? He trying to get a conviction reversed. He trying to get out of it. And he left his nephew like that. And got a petition, honey.
Outside the room. She calls back 10 minutes later. We sent the news, and my uncle's up on her. That's who killed him the whole time.
Jesse Dotson is now asking the court his conviction and sentence. The 249-page petition argues improper police tactics and false testimony, claiming CJ's testimony was altered by drugs.
I know he did it, and I seen him, and all he doing.
And he gonna say that his nephew had was on mind altering drugs, and you smashed his throat. You took him out. You took your own nephew out. Ooh, wait, Chad. The boy was in the hospital, y'all. They went down there. The first 48 went down there and investigate the little boy. When he was 11 years old, they investigate him. And I was praying that he lived, because I think somebody else survived. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the little one, I can't remember that the little ones survive or not.
It's lying to the media, the blogs, just to get out and do more killing.
Today, CJ and Sierra Dotson released balloons to remember their loved ones, exactly 16 years later.
Just to let them know that they ain't forgot. They still here with me.
In South Memphis, Alan Self,
Well, y'all could tell the way he talked. Y'all could tell the way he talked that he ain't, it ain't all there. You could tell that the way he talked that it's not all there. Why he sitting up here like he ain't did nothing wrong. And this is what I want to show y'all. This right here. It don't make no sense. I can't believe he doing this. But anybody do anything when they trying to get out of they trying to get out of him quick. They about to send him out of him. So y'all, this is the petition that she's gonna tell y'all about that to get him off the death row. He trying to get off of death row, y'all.
People, including his two young nephews, is petitioning to get off of death row. Jesse Dotson's attorney
sure do look like
it,
it, uncle.
he is innocent, and he has the evidence to back it up. Fox 13's Dominic Dillon is joining us live from Leicester Street, where the killings happened in
Memphis.
2008. Dominic, so if Jesse Dotson didn't do it, who did?
Well, Dotson's attorney told me what happened at this house 16 years ago was a gang hit. And she says she has the evidence to prove that Dotson did not commit these murders. However, that was not what was proven in court, and he is being held responsible. Dotson is currently on death row for murdering 6 family members in 2008. His attorneys have filed a petition in federal court claiming that Dotson is innocent. Dotson received the death penalty for murdering 4 adults and 2 kids on Leicester Street in March of 2008. A nephew who survived the attacks and was 11 years old when he testified at Dotson's trial identified Dotson as the killer, saying Uncle Junior did it.
That was their favorite uncle. That's what they favorite. He was their favorite uncle. His daddy brother. They ain't got no reason to lie on that man.
249-page petition claims the boy wasn't competent to give testimony, and it claims Dotson was pressured to confess partly due to the TV show The First 48.
He a lie, and I'm gonna take up for First 48. He ain't telling the truth on them. They were asking him what happened. They didn't pressure him. They were asking him. They already knew what he did.
The only reason that he was targeted as a suspect is because law enforcement officials with the Memphis Police Department violated protocols with respect to how to question child witnesses, as well as how to question Mr. Dotson.
Now, his brother No, Carolina. You say he might have been their daddy. Now, their daddy is the one he killed first. The boy just told you that.
Dotson also claims in the petition that he received ineffective counsel. He made the same claim to the state, and the Tennessee Supreme Court denied that appeal. On Fox 13.
Now, this I remember when he did. I'm gonna let y'all hear this, and then I'm gonna let y'all go after this. I didn't want y'all. They better not let that man out of there. I play anything to keep everybody from signing a petition because he don't need to be out of there. No, you don't. Period. Point out. Period.
Well, Mr. Dotson, you just agreed to 95% of the state's case, except the part where you didn't you?
No, sir.
You didn't?
No, sir.
You've been in here through this trial, right?
Yes, sir.
You've heard the proof we put on? Right? You've been here.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about what you just agreed to.
They not putting it.
95% of except the part where you didn't.
Y'all, the video look like that because they ain't putting it focus. They ain't putting the focus on. They ain't putting the focus on him, on his face. I don't know if they want y'all see him or what. But I want y'all to see his face while he's sitting here talking like ain't nothing happened. Let me see y'all. There you go. Let me see. Can y'all see this one good? They ever trying.
Shall I swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Yes, sir.
And they just be coming in like they ain't did nothing.
Tell us your name.
Mr. Dotson.
How old are you?
35.
I want to take you back to March 7th of 2008. As you've heard some people testifying about some conversations you had with police officers, Mason and Stark and Archer. I want to talk first of all about some of those conversations, some of the things that you said. First of all, when you were talking to officers Mason and Stark, I want to talk about that conversation first. Did you tell them in this conversation that you were at work that day?
Yes, sir.
From about 8 to 3?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell them that after work that you were picked up by Cecil? Your Honor, objectively, don't leave, Mr. Scan. After you, what did you tell them you did after work?
Told my brother pick me up.
Who was your brother?
Cecil Dotson.
Did you tell them you went somewhere?
Listen, y'all, see, Caesar is his brother. Caesar was the first one of the first that he took out of there. Yeah, he just seemed like, boy. And you had the nerve to say your nephew was on mind altering medication.
Place after that.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you tell them that you went?
Jane's house.
Everything that you told them up to this point, was it true?
No, sir.
After you went back to his house on Lester Street, what did you tell them happened?
Told him we watched the game.
Did you tell them how you got home that night?
Yes, sir.
What did you tell them? I'm talking about the conversation with Mason. What did you tell her, if you remember?
I told her he dropped me off.
Was that true?
No, sir.
Now, after this conversation,
I wish he'll move.
Officer Armstrong testified. Here in court, you heard Officer Armstrong
Yes, sir.
testify. testify about a conversation you had with him on March the 7th?
Yes, sir.
When you had this conversation with Officer Armstrong, how long had you been up in the homicide office?
Wow.
Minutes, hours?
Hours.
Were you handcuffed?
Yes, sir.
Where were you handcuffed? On your leg. Now, in the course of your conversation with Officer Armstrong, you heard him testify about some comments you made.
Yes, sir.
Did he play a tape for you of your nephew saying your name?
Yes, sir.
Did he play a tape for you? Did he play any other part of your nephew's tape for you? Did he play the part of your nephew's tape where he identified other people?
No, sir.
So Officer Armstrong had a tape recorder with him. He was over there.
Okay, y'all, on this part is when he trying to blame First 48 for pressuring him. But they did real good with him. They talked to him. He was shocked when he found out that his nephew was alive. He thought everybody in that house was gone, y'all. He thought he had to did a deed like he had some insurance policy he had somewhere. Until he found out that boy was alive.
At any point did Officer Armstrong yell at you?
Yes, sir.
Did he swear at you?
Several times.
Did he pound on the table?
Yes, sir.
After he did this, you heard him testify about. You told him at that point, after this happened, that your brother Cecil reached for a shotgun and you just started shooting.
Yes, sir.
Something. You told Officer Armstrong that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You didn't make that up.
No, sir.
And then he testified that you made some comments about you stabbed the children or stuck the children because they saw you.
Yes, sir.
And that you got the knives.
See, y'all, he admit that the kids seen him. He tried to do off with the kids, because you know kids gonna talk. So he thought his nephew was gone.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then he testified that you asked for your mother. That happened, right? You did ask for your mother. And your mother testified that you told her you got a gun. I mean, you had a gun. Cecil set his gun down and you just started shooting. Right?
Yes, sir.
And you actually said that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Marcy said. And then you told your mother that you stuck the children because. No, I object to the lady. Not lady. What did you tell your mother about the children?
I told her I stuck.
See? That's why I'm showing y'all this. He the one see him say what he did. He telling y'all that he did this. But then he trying to get a conversion. You see, I know what he doing. I see what Mr. Dawson doing. He trying to play that mind crazy game to keep from going to be to that get off that death penalty. I get what he doing now. Because he already committed, right? He already telling y'all what he did. He telling y'all he did this. Because he told his mom what he did. This is the uncle to that boy who y'all just seen finish talking, who did this to his own nephew, and the nephew favored him.
I want to take you back. I want to start to the day before. Did you hear the police officer testifying, Officer Stephanie, about an incident involving you and a gun, putting the gun to your head and saying you were going to kill yourself?
Yes, sir.
Did that ever happen?
Yes, sir.
You or the officer or your friend testified that you made the comment, I'm not going back to prison for something I didn't do.
Yes, sir.
Did you say that?
Yes, sir.
You heard the witness say that you said something ineffective. I should have just died with my brother.
Yes, sir.
Did you make that comment?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to go back. When you were, the day before that, on March 5th, you interviewed with the police.
Yes, sir.
If you remember on that March the 5th, from the first time you went in to talk to the police until the time you left that March 5th interview, were they videotaping you? Were they
Yes, sir.
taping you?
Yes, sir.
On March the 7th, when you went in and spoke to the police, from the very beginning of the interview, at about 6 or 7 o'clock, whenever they testified to, until 2 something in the morning, when they testified you were done, did they videotape that entire event?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk. The comments you made to Officer Armstrong.
This in Memphis, y'all.
First said to him that you shot your brother Cecil. From that, I want to go back before that. Same conversation with Officer Armstrong. The time before you said that. How many hours had you been up there, to your knowledge, before that?
It was a long time.
How many hours before that was Officer Armstrong screaming?
He didn't start off straight.
He didn't start off screaming. How long into the interview did he begin screaming?
Well, he asked a lot of questions. When he first started screaming, he was screaming about my family. Said he tired of us bullshitting around. You know, said we playing games. We've been playing games since this investigation started. You know, and I told him I wasn't with my family when he interviewed my family. And he said, you know, we bullshitting. He's sick of it. He wants some answers and he wants them now.
At what point did Officer Armstrong begin pounding on the table that you remember?
After he played the tape.
Were you free to leave?
No, sir.
In the hours leading up from when you first got there on March the 7th, talking to officers, up until the time, I think Officer Armstrong testified it was about 1:30 in the morning, that you first told him that you shot your brother Cecil. Tell the jury leading up to that point what you were telling Officer Armstrong.
I didn't do it.
So he's saying he had to do it. He said that he didn't do it, but he had to do it. His nephew say he did it. Cause he took him out, like they took him out. Of course he's not gonna sit in front of y'all and say, "Oh, I did it." He don't want to go to jail. Nobody want to go to jail, but he wasn't thinking. I don't know what he was on, what was going on with him. For him to do that to his own nephew and his nieces and his brother, he wasn't in his right mind, y'all.
Did Officer Armstrong tell you how long he was going to keep you there until you told him that you did it?
Well, actually, I asked to see my mom about 3 times. He told me I wasn't seeing nobody until I give him what he want to know. Tell him what he want to know.
He was being an investigator.
Were you upset
Yeah.
during this whole time? Were you in your right mind this whole time? Let me ask that. From the time your brother and his family's bodies were discovered until the time that you interviewed with Officer Armstrong, how much sleep did you have?
None.
Had you cried about what happened, Judd? Did you mourn about it?
Yeah.
Were you still mourning about it?
Yeah.
Were you depressed?
Yeah.
Was the event the day before when you put the gun to your head and said, I'm not going back to prison, there's nothing I can do. I'll live like you want to kill yourself. Was that the only time during that 3 or 4 day period that you actually came that close to killing yourself?
I'm still going to object to the lady, please. You're still lady, Mr. Stanley.
How many times in between discovery of your brother and family's bodies and the interview by Officer Armstrong did you attempt to commit suicide?
After the first interview.
You told Sergeant Armstrong that you shot your brother Cecil. Was it the truth?
No, sir.
Wow, I can't believe this.
Testified to court.
No, sir.
Your cousin, do you have a cousin named Immigrant?
Yes, sir.
Also known as Immigrant. In the months or the weeks leading up to your brother dying, did you have occasion to be around your cousin's Immigrant?
Yes, sir.
Do you know the name of the street that she lived on?
Merton.
Or was that close to where you lived?
Right down the street.
Now,
Mm.
do you know who her boyfriend was around this time?
Yes, sir.
What was his name?
Burn.
Show you a picture.
Can't believe you.
What did you end up doing with that gun? Did you still have it?
Yes, sir.
Did you at some point get rid of it?
Yes, sir.
How?
Well, she called me and asked me did I still have it. I told her yes. She told me to give it to my other cousin.
Did you give it to your other cousin?
Yes, sir.
What's his name?
Antonio.
Only reason why the cousin told him to do that because the cousin didn't think that he had something to do with it. I can't believe he's sitting out there looking at we in disguise, honey. Just sitting right there like he ain't did nothing. Wow. How can you keep a face like that?
Talk a little bit about your brother, Cecil. Was your brother Cecil in a gang?
Yes, sir.
What gang?
Gangster Disciple.
At some point in your life back in the 90s, did you join a gang?
Yes, sir.
What was the name of the gang you joined?
Kitchen Cribs. Yes, sir.
I want to talk about what happened on March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Y'all in two different games.
Let's start on that Saturday. Did you work that Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Where did you work and who did you work for?
Work with my dad. And we was working on the house in Midtown.
What did you do? What kind of work?
We did remodeling houses, painting, drywalls, all that.
After work that day, did anybody pick you up?
Yeah.
Who picked you up?
Cecil.
Where?
And my sister.
Sister Nicole?
Yes, sir.
What street does she live on?
Goodwill Lane.
Goodwill Lane. Was anybody with your brother Cecil when he picked you up?
Yes, sir.
Who was with him?
Two of his boys.
Which two boys?
Man and Samario.
Now did you know all of your brother's kids?
Yes, sir.
After your brother picked you up, where did you go? What did you do?
After he picked me up, we stopped at the liquor store. Got some Hennessy, then we went straight to his house.
Oh, you was on a hand.
The one back on Lester Street.
Yes, sir.
Who else was there when you got back to his house?
Just Marissa and the other kids.
How long did you stay in the house?
A while.
Did anybody else come over?
Yes, sir.
Came over.
My dad, Fat came over. He got dropped off.
Let's back up a little bit. Your dad, what do you call him?
Jessie.
And your brother, Fat?
William.
William. And
Why y'all didn't want us to hear that part?
did you stay there that evening?
Yes, sir.
For how long?
All day.
All evening. Okay. What was everybody doing?
Well, we was barbecuing. Well, Marissa left. She left the house to go grocery shopping.
Okay.
We sit there, we drank, smoked, put some hot dogs on the grill. We'll smoke sausage, put some smoked sausages on the grill. He and my brother did, the gun that Frank was holding it for. They discussed it. My brother talked him into going to get it.
Okay, did your dad and your brother leave at some point?
Yes.
Remember about what time that was?
Well, my pop left a little after the game went off.
What happened next? Did you stay in the house? Did you leave?
That's right, Beverly.
We was outside listening to the game on the radio. Once the game went off the radio, we all came in the house, sit down, talk for a little while. Pop got up, went outside. Bro got up, went behind him. You know, then Pop left, bro came back in. I was still sitting.
There wasn't no games there.
Brother,
Cecil,
you called him.
Wayne.
What happened next?
Well, we was sitting in there. Well, actually, we went in the kitchen
Right.
because we was hungry.
Right.
So we went in there. He asked me for some clothes. He had just got out of jail. He asked me for some clothes. My brother said, I got some clothes in there. And he was like, I can't fit your clothes. And my brother was like, all of us were the same size. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I didn't know. Bro told me he can go in the back, take a shower, clean up and stuff.
So Hollis, if I understand you, you call E. Just got out of jail. He needs some clothes, so he got cleaned up and put on some clothes.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
He didn't. He said he'll do it later on.
Did you end up leaving the house at some point?
Yeah.
Do you remember at what time?
Well, it was dark outside.
Did you leave alone or did you leave with other people?
I left with Hollis and my brother.
Whose car?
Cecil's.
What kind of car was it?
A Lincoln.
Where did you go first?
To Frank's house.
And when you say Frank, was that the same individual who testified this week or last week, whenever it was, in this trial? Is that here?
Yes, sir.
Willie Boyd. When you went to his house, do you know where he lived?
Did I know where he lived?
Right.
I didn't know the apartment's name, but I do now.
What was the name of the apartment?
Barclay.
And what happened once you got to the Barclay Apartments?
Well, when we got there, he got out, and it was another male coming down the steps. My brother got out, approached him. They was talking about Frank and the incident that happened on February 14th.
This other individual that was coming down the stairs, do you know who that individual was?
No, sir.
Did you get out of the car or stay in the car?
I sit in the car.
Stay in the car. Hollis, was he in a gang to your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
What was he?
Gangster disciple.
The individuals that were in this apartment, Hollis and Frank's apartment, are you aware of whether or not they were in a gang?
Yes, sir.
What gang were they in?
The gangster disciples.
Now, you told us that a man was coming down the stairs to talk to your brother. Where did Hollis go? Or what did Hollis do?
Hollis went to Frank's apartment.
Went up to Frank's apartment.
Yes, sir.
How long did he stay in Frank's apartment?
Wow. About 30, 40 minutes.
Do you know what the purpose was of bringing Hollis to this apartment?
To get a gun.
Hollis came back out at some point.
No, I went and got him.
You went and got him.
Yes, sir.
Explain to the jury what happened. You went and got him. What do you mean?
Well, my brother and this other guy was downstairs in the parking lot. The other guy wasn't arguing with my brother, but my brother was arguing with him. He wasn't arguing with my brother. He was basically trying to calm my brother down, letting my brother know that, you know, he messed with Frank, he messed with him. My brother was telling him, you don't mess with me. You know, if you mess with him, if you was my nigga, he said, you wouldn't let me stand this close up on you. He said, my real nigga, you wouldn't be able to get this close up on me.
Well, I want to explain some of this terminology for the jury. When an individual in this gang says something about messing with my nigger,
Okay, then where's that gang member at? Right? Where's that witness? Because I don't believe nothing coming out of Jesse's mouth. Where's the gang member at that he's talking about?
what does that mean?
Well, at the time, my brother was into it. And my brother took it as he felt like this guy supposed to be with him. Just like he told E. That's why he went to get the gun.
Your brother arguing with this individual, was that common or uncommon for your brother to argue with people?
It's common.
After the argument or conversation with Cecil and this other individual stopped, is that the point you went and got Hollis? What happened? Explain to her what happened next.
Well, I was sitting in the car. The guy saw me sitting in the car. He asked my brother who was there sitting in the car. My brother told him that's my brother. He waved at me. I waved back at him. And him and my brothers are. He tried to hug my brother. You know, he was trying to hug my brother. He said, I don't know why you're trying to hug me. I don't know why you're trying to hug me. And my brother pulled his shirt up. You know, I told him I ain't got nothing on me. And he told him, I know you got a pistol on you. He said, I ain't got nothing on me. He said, he want to fight. He told him to go up there and get that fat mother. You know, bring him down here. I just want to fight. I don't want no weapons or nothing. We can just fight. I just want to show him I ain't no punk. And by this time, he was in a black Impala. The dude, the light-skinned guy, he was in a black Impala. By this time, he went to his Impala. And my brother yelled out, y'all know where I stay at. You know, came to the car, got in the car.
Wow. Y'all hear this story the boy making up? So he can make like it got some be involved with a gang? Wow. I can't believe this. And he just sitting there just telling his story.
The phone rang, and Frank's number popped up. Frank's name popped up. And he said, I don't know what he called me for. Phone rang again. Frank's name popped up. I answered. It was E. He said, where y'all at? We still out in the parking lot. So he's like, I thought y'all left. No, we still out waiting on you. I hang the phone up. My brother was telling me how he just punked dude. Dude got a gun on him. You know, he just punked him. You know, we laughed. And I told my brother, I ain't go up there and get E. He said, I'm not going up there. You know I ain't going up there. You go up there and get him. So I got out the car, went up there and knocked on the door. They came to the door, opened the door, let me in. There's another guy in there. There's a guy in there I didn't know. Trail was in there. Frank was in there. Sammy was in there. Frank and Trail came to the living room where I was.
Why did the attorney, why are you doing this? I mean, because in this situation, Jess had Mr. Dawson is involving people in this who have not testified. Why are we listening to this? What happened in that house? That's what we want to hear. What happened in that house? Because see, you could make up your own story. I mean, this is something that could happen, but you ain't got no witness. You calling people names out that not even testifying. Come on now, let's get what happened in that house.
The other guy was walking through the hallway, and I told we ready. He said, y'all ready? And he came on out with me, went to the car and left.
Wow.
When you left that apartment, it was still the three of you, or was it still the three of you?
Three of us.
Where did you go next?
To Sheila's house.
Where's Sheila?
That was my girlfriend at the time.
You remember the name of the street she lived on?
Sheila.
What happened when you got to Sheila's house? What did you do?
Well, we got out the car. Me and my brother got out the car. Went in. I was looking for Sheila. She wasn't there. And her daughter told me I could look around. I looked in her room. She wasn't in her room. So her daughter jumped in front of her bedroom door. So I said, why are you jumping in front of the bedroom door? You said I could look around. So she moved out the way. She went in her mom's room. I opened up the bedroom door. Her boyfriend was sitting on the floor. She didn't have a bed in there at the time. He just moved in there. He was was sitting on the floor. He got his pants halfway down. So I told him, I said, oh, I'm sorry. I bagged out. So she got to cussing me out, and I told her I was sorry. And my brother told her, he in love, he drunk, he in love. She was like, this ain't no motherfucking love. Love gonna make you. So, we left. We didn't stay. We left there, went to my son's house.
You went to your son's house next. What's your son's name?
Well, we didn't go to his house. We went to his grandmama's house.
What's his grandmother's name?
Merle.
How long did you stay at his grandmother's house?
We didn't stay there 5 minutes. He wasn't there. He was at his auntie's.
Did you see his grandmother? Did you see anybody there?
Yeah. Saw his sister and his grandma.
Where did you go next?
Went to pick Sandra up.
Where was that? Do you know?
It's right next to G.E. Patterson Church. This apartment's right next to G.E. Patterson Church.
Why were you thinking of Sandra? Who was she in relationship to? The three of you?
Me? Was picking her up for E.
Was it his sister, his mother, his girlfriend? Who was it?
His girlfriend.
Where did you go after picking up Sandra?
Well, when Sandra got in the car, she asked if we had some weed. Said no. Said we just left Franklin's house.
Sure do remember a lot.
Back to Franklin's house. So he said he got somewhere to go. That's when we went to the Kimball Cabana.
Kimball Cabana apartment. Is that an apartment complex?
Yes, sir.
What did you do at Kimball Cabana apartment?
Well, we pulled up. My brother got out the car. Well, Sandra said she had $15. And I gave $30, which we spent $45.
Buying an R1.
Yes, sir. So my brother got out the car, come back to the car, told me to get out the car. He wanted me to meet some of his folks. So I got out the car, went in the apartment. He introduced me to some of his folks.
All right, let me back here for a bit. The apartment you went into, is that the apartment you bought marijuana from?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you use the term folks, when your brother said these are my folks, what does that term mean, folks?
Gangster disciples.
How many folks were in that apartment?
4.
Did you know them before you went into that apartment?
No, sir.
How long did you all stay in that apartment?
Well, we stayed in there about 10 minutes.
When you left, how many people left in your car with you?
4.
The same 4? Your brother, Paula, and Jim.
Yes, sir.
Where did you go next?
To, I don't know her name, but I described her to the detectives as a big girl.
Was it the young lady that testified earlier this week?
Yes, sir.
Did you go to her house or apartment? Did you see her on the street? Where did you see her?
A house.
Let me back you up a little bit before this. Had you seen Erica Smith that night up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Back up. Where did you see Erica Smith?
In the Kimball Cabanas.
The place you bought the marijuana.
Yes, sir.
Where was Erica Smith?
When we came out the apartment, she was standing in the driveway, and my brother met her in the driveway. I went back to the car, and I was sitting in the car, me and Eden was sitting in there laughing. I was like, she must have smelled, bro. So I opened the car door and I hollered her name. I said, Erica. She said, who is that? I said, it's Junior. She came around there on my side. She was trying to see who was in the car. She was trying to see. So I said, you must have smelled, bro. She was like, no, he called me and told me he was out. I was like, oh. So she turned around, walked back. And she come back and said, who is that in the car? And he hollered out, it's E. She spoke to him and she wanted to know who the girl was in there. Told her who that was. She spoke to her. Went on back around there where bro was. Her and bro stood there about 5 more minutes. He came, got in the car. When he got in the car, he was on the phone talking to her.
Then you told us you
It was about 30, 40 minutes.
From there, where did you go?
To his house.
Okay. Did all four of you go back to his house?
Yes, sir.
When you arrived at his house, who was there?
Marissa. Kids.
Marissa and the kids.
Yes, sir.
Did all of you go inside of the house when you got there?
Yes, sir.
Now, what room did you go into when you first got home?
The living room.
Who all was in the living room?
Me, my brother, Hollis, Marissa, and Sandria.
What were all of you doing?
Sitting in there. Well, Marissa was drinking wine cooler. Sandria was finna get ready to roll some weed up. We was talking, well, me and my brother was talking about a family reunion. We was talking about some clothes. You know, we was gonna go and buy some clothes for this family reunion. Then we got on about his daughter's birthday.
Whose daughter's birthday?
My brother,
What was his daughter's name?
Sierra.
Do you know how old Sierra is?
Now, about 14 or 15.
Now, was her birthday around this time?
It's the next day.
Next day. How long did the five of you stand in the living room visiting, did you know?
It's about 20, 25 minutes.
Where did you go next, or did you go anyplace from there?
Well, my brother asked Marissa to go and put some sheets on the bed. He told Marissa that he was gonna give Sandria and Hollis the room, and they was gonna sleep in the living room,
Which room you talking about?
the room in the back.
Who asked her to put sheets on?
Six asked Marissa to put some sheets on the bed, change the sheets, and Marissa was like, so I said, I'll put the sheets on the bed, I'll clean the room up for him and stuff, so I went back there.
Well, you the most good old guy, huh?
Yes, sir.
Judge, if I could ask him to step down to this monitor in front of you. Right? Yes, go ahead. This photo of this house, right? You can recognize that as the house on Lester Street. Now, the living room area that you all been talking about, show me where you're going. When you all were visiting in there, what part of that room? All over it, or north? Now, the back bedroom that you talked about, show them where you put the sheets on the bed, like Jerry was there. Is there only one way to get back to that room? Is there any exit out of that back part of the house back here? Where?
Come back here.
Just see back up there. Now, when you went back to that bedroom, what did you do?
I went in that bathroom right there, because I was going to start in the bathroom, but actually, it was clean. So, you know, I actually started laughing, because I said it's the cleanest room in the house.
Okay.
So I was standing right there, so as
Come
I,
back, I'm sorry. Come on back. Where you, when you said the bathroom, back to what's that, right? Back to what's that? By the door. Right.
I had this quick in my hand. By this time, I heard gunfire.
See, when you're back there, last question, when you're back there, standing beside that bed, that quilt, what did you hear?
It was approximately 2 to 3 shots.
Did you have a gun with you at the time?
Yes, sir.
Which gun?
44.
What did that gun look like? What color was it?
It was the exact color or the tie Marty got on.
That's blue.
The exact color.
Now, Tell me what else you heard.
Well, it was a lot of noise in this room when I got there.
Jury's clear on it. I think you told us. You got out of this bed right here. We hear noise coming from one part of the house.
I didn't know it. They wrong, I found out. Was the dog. But
This room right here. There's a dog. Is it in a cage or is it loose? Where else you hear noise from?
I don't hear too much noise. So, maybe. But you got to hear that shit. After I heard the first couple shots, he was seconds later after another shot.
What shot coming from the front of the house? How many shots did you think you heard?
It was a lot of
He'll be ashamed of himself.
Different guns.
I'm not gonna say know the sound of them. You know the sound of a gunshot. I'm not gonna say, you can determine. Well, I can't.
You can't determine the difference between a 380 and a 9mm.
Now, y'all, watch his attitude about to change. It about to change real quick. It about to change real quick.
No, sir.
You talk about screaming. Explain to the jury what you mean by that. What did you hear?
Well,
Screaming.
it was a girl that was screaming. And when I heard her screaming, I got under that bed.
The screaming and the gunshots. What did you hear after that?
Nothing. It got silent in there.
Come on, Dodson. Tell the truth.
After it got silent, what did you do?
Well, I laid there for a minute.
What?
You gonna keep waking up under there? Or was you gonna stay up under there?
But you got nieces and nephews in the house. You got nieces and nephews in the house. You got young nieces and nephews in the house. And they depend on you, uncle. And you tell me that you laid up under bed? Come on now. Come on, Dawson. Y'all, what if he is trying to overturn his conviction, okay, for something that he did do, or something that he was charged. So he trying to overturn it, okay? And he have a petition trying to say, so we need to show this. We need to tell this. So it can bring back y'all memories what happened that he did to his own nephew. And that was wrong.
I heard
And,
noise in there.
and his nephew is alive now and telling the same story what his own uncle, their favorite uncle, did to his daddy and to his cousin.
So I wasn't gonna come out of there and you still hearing noise. So I laid there until
Come on back. You say noise in the other alleyway. This is after the gunshot and the sounds have stopped. All right. And you're still under the bed.
Man, you're a gangster.
Dogs in there or a dog in there is a different noise.
So Dawson, I mean, you gonna tell us that you supposed to be in a gang too. You supposed to be in y'all people house, and you're gonna tell me that your nephews in there and somebody in there with a gun. Come on, you up on the bed and boy, the story don't even sound right. That's not what your nephew said that happened.
Hear any noise from these parts of the room up here? Were you able to hear any noise?
Yeah.
Did you eventually come out from the bed?
I realized that there was that dog in there. Yes, sir.
What did you think had happened?
Yeah, what I saw, I didn't think happened.
I want you to think back about what you saw. When you came out of that bedroom, where did you go?
Into the living room.
You saw the pictures that were put up here.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you saw?
Yes, sir.
Did you think that people were alive or that they were dead?
I did.
Did you see the children?
Yes, sir.
Did you think that they were alive or dead?
Did.
Did you go into every room?
Well, not every room, but I went in the back room.
Back bedroom?
Yes, sir.
Did you went in? You went in the back.
Yes, sir.
Did you touch anything when you went in the bathroom?
No, sir. Didn't touch nothing in there.
Did you see your nephew, CJ, in the tub?
Yes, sir.
At this point, Jessie, tell the jury what do you think? What's going to be on?
I'm finna get up out of there.
Wow. You're a trip.
How did you get up out of there?
That bike right there.
Where was this fight?
In the living room behind the door.
My bad. In the living room.
Oh, Lord. Look at him playing his little game.
It's in the living room behind the door. Show me what door. That's right.
Wow.
So this front, is that the front door of the house? You said it's wide open. The bike is sitting. Did you take the bike out that front door?
Yes, sir.
Where did you go?
To Sheila's house.
Do you know how long it took you to ride to Sheila's house? Any idea?
No, sir.
Wow. You left your family and your nieces and your nephews.
When you got to Sheila's house, what did you do?
Knocked on the door.
Somebody let you in?
Yes, sir.
Who let you in?
Kiara.
Did you have a conversation with Kiara?
Yeah.
You heard her testify as to what happened when you came home. Then you knocked on her door asking if you could talk to her.
Yes, sir.
And then you ended up eventually going to bed and getting up and not going to work the next day. Is that?
Nah, yeah. Well, when she let me in, I went in her mom's room. She went in her room.
Right.
I ran to the bathroom. I threw up in the sink.
You threw up in the sink at Sheila's house.
Yes, sir.
Because you know what you did.
That's when I got a bleach bottle out of the closet. There was a
What?
towel in there. I grabbed the towel, poured bleach on the towel, brushed my teeth, and went back in there. And when I went back in there, I knocked on her door and told her I need to talk to her.
Did you talk to her? Did you end up having that conversation?
No, sir.
Sad.
Jessie, I want you to tell the jury how come you called.
Well, it's like this. Y'all heard testimony about the gangs. I'm in a gang. We don't call the police. It's just that simple. We don't call the police. It's not part of what we do. If If I call the police, I'll be just like my brother.
No.
I'll be just like him, dead.
Your story don't even sound right. Your story don't even sound right. Oh Lord, you ain't even gain no reason to come over there and do what they did. It don't even make sense.
When you were at Sheila's house and the next day, when you were talking to members of your family and stuff, did you have any knowledge at that time that any of those children were still alive?
No, sir.
Well, I've asked you why you didn't call the police when you were brought in to talk to the police on March the 5th. Why didn't you tell them what happened?
Talk to police.
Oh, you a mess.
Well, you ended up talking to them on March the 7th. We've already talked about what you told them. So you actually, I mean, you did talk to them that day.
Yes.
Did you ever consider telling them what actually happened?
At one point, yeah. Actually, it was Davis that I actually was gonna tell in the first interview. The very first interview.
What made you not do that?
After the interview, well, when my brother came up there,
Which brother?
Fat William, when he came up there, they asked me, was it all right for them to talk to him? I said, sure. I ain't got no problem with talking to him. So when he got there, they let me and him come in the room together. And my brother was telling him stuff that he hadn't heard. So he want to know, how did he hear it? Where you hear it from? He told him, he got it from Frank. So I asked my brother, did he know Doc's name? Because that's what we was trying to figure out, Doc's real name. And
Did you eventually find out Doc's real name?
I tried, and I think Sierra's mother told me, which we call her Lily. I think she told me. I talked to her when I got home. But when we left the interview, the thing that made me mad when we left the interview, we was riding home, and my brother was on the phone with this girl that he left at his apartment. And she said, where you at? He said, I'll be there in a minute. He said, I'm gonna drop my brother off, and I'll be there. She said, your brother? He said, yeah. She said, your brother who? And he said, Jessie. He said, you know the one you met? He said, you met her. And she said, you riding in the car with the killer? You riding in the car with the killer? So he started laughing. He said, man, she tell me out, they got you on TV saying you riding in the car that you the killer. And he like, no, I just picked him up from down there. If he done something, they would have kept him. And she said, no, they got him on the news. They got him on the news. So we went on to where we was going. And when we got to where we was going, the guy there said, yeah, they got you all over the news. I said, me? He said, yeah. So I had Davidson card. So my brother was like, well, call him, see what's going on. At this point, I said, you know what I'm saying? At this point. But, I just do dealing with them. So we proceeded on to my sister's house. Asked them if they saw it on the news. Had they been throwing me on the news? He said, yeah, we saw it. I saw it. We went and got on the computer and looked it up on the computer. And there it was on the computer. So Everybody like, well, we know you ain't did this, don't worry about it.
Well, let me ask you. I want to go back to March the 6th when you had the gun in your head and talked about suicide. Were you on TV at that day, at that house?
Yes,
Being shown? Were they showing your face?
they've shown my face since the first interview. Since the time I left the first interview, they have shown me on the news from that day on.
And this was before you were ever arrested?
Yes, sir.
A couple days before you were ever arrested?
Yes, sir.
So when you put your gun to your head and made that comment that you were excited about not going back to prison for something new, the news had been showing you photographs and talking about this case.
Yes, sir.
Was there a lot of news coverage?
Yes, sir.
Pick it up one moment. All right.
Okay, y'all, that right there was Jesse Dawson, okay? Still lying. He is they call him the Leicester Street murder. And he's trying to convert his conviction, and he got a petition. People sign it, trying to get people to sign it. So he said he didn't do nothing. But hold on, y'all. I want to do this before I leave. And the reason why I'm doing this because this the boy that I'm worrying about. It wasn't for this survivor, his own nephew, like the nephew said, he's lying. And me, I'm gonna say that he's allegedly, I'm gonna have to say he allegedly, but the nephew lived to tell his story. So I want to thank y'all for watching, but I want to play this for the last time due to the fact that his own nephew lived through this. He was the only survivor. The survivor is reaching out to everybody, telling everybody, do not sign that petition where Jessie Dawson is lying. So I'm gonna play this for the last time, for this young man's sake, for his nephew's sake.
Kill him. Get him
And
gone.
his
He's
niece.
a monster.
The niece of Jesse Dotson, filled with anger. Dotson is serving time on death row for killing 6 people, including multiple family members and children in 2008.
I walked in there, I seen him holding a gun, a revolver. I know what it was. And he was shooting my dad in the face.
Jesse Dotson's nephew, CJ Dotson, was there. He was only 9 years old at the time.
I was his first child victim he started on. Before he went to my brothers and them, he started on me first. So when I looked him in his face, I told him I loved him. He had his pocket knife like this in his hand and was looking at me with, a little tear in his eye, but he had the little evil look on. And he sliced me across his throat.
He says he tried to call 911, but dropped the phone when he saw his uncle.
Stand right there in the doorway. I had the phone, I dropped the phone. I was acting like I was looking for something. I was like, I need to go to the restroom. I was trying to go to the restroom. He made me go to the restroom. As soon as
Hey, Michelle. Y'all, this it right here. The nephew who lived to tell what happened to his family. Now his uncle wanted to overturn his conviction. He still lying on his own nephew. The nephew wasn't but 9 years old when he was talking about it. And he trying to said that the nephew was under some kind of medication, and he wasn't. He didn't. And by the way, He didn't even know his nephew was alive until first 48. The investigator said that, well, you left one alive to tell the story. That's what made the first 48 get upset and get loud, because that boy right there was 9. They said 11, but 9, when he was in the hospital telling what his uncle did to him, and he continues to have the same story. I hope the judge take what this young man say, send him back to court, keep them from overturning his uncle conviction, and keep him in there on death row for the rest of his life till he disappear.
Whip it out and use the restroom. He stuck me in the head with a butcher knife, and I was playing with it, right? And I fell in the tub and I was playing with it because I was trying to pull it out, but it wouldn't budge.
CJ was taken to the hospital that night. Meanwhile, Sierra Dotson says she was sleeping at her relative's house, and that saved her life. She found out about the killings the next day. She says she was taken to protective custody with her uncle. At the time, he had not been arrested.
They didn't know who did it at the time, so they had to pick me up because it was the protective custody. That's when I left in. Went to protective custody. My uncle was in protective custody with Jessie Dotson. And we had 10 police officers outside the room. She calls back 10 minutes later. We seen the news, and my uncle's up on her. That's who killed him the whole time.
Jessie Dotson is now asking the court to set aside his conviction and sentence. The 249-page petition argues improper police tactics and false testimony, claiming CJ's testimony was altered by drugs.
I know he did it, and I seen him, and all he doing is lying to the media, the blogs, just, to get out and do more killing.
Today, CJ and Sierra Dotson released balloons to remember their loved ones, exactly 16 years later.
Just to let them know that they ain't forgot. They still here with me.
In South Memphis, Alan Self, WR.
All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here, and we're gonna make sure and we're gonna pray that they don't overturn no kind of conviction, and that little boy, the young man, can tell his story, his own nephew. I love y'all. I'm out of here.